Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second semester of the session. I hope everyone is doing good with best of your health. I am Shakil Ahmed from Deanship of eLearning and IT. I believe everyone understands that after the pandemic, and especially during the pandemic, many services have been transformed to e-services. And e-learning is one of the most important e-services offered. It is mostly used in training or higher education courses. And at the same time, quality of education is the aim of all higher education institutions, especially in the Arab world. The reason behind, because quality learning is the goal of any online education program, and this quality must be equivalent to the quality delivered via on-ground courses or face-to-face learning courses and different programs in any institution of higher education. That's why our Deanship of eLearning always brings something innovative ideas which can improve the teaching skills of the faculty of Jazan University. And here we are with the new and dynamic title of the training, that is e-learning content design and development. This e-learning content development in the view of National e-learning center standards. In this session, we're gonna have a lot of different options going to be discussed and explore that what is National e-learning center standards and why it's been developed and designed this type of an ELC center, and what is their types of learning over there, what kind of certifications they're offering, and what kind of standards they are following over there, and how we can create a very decent type of design and development of e-learning content by using the NELC standards. So let's have a look about National e-learning center. The National e-learning center was established as an independent entity by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and is under the Council of Ministers in 1439. It aims to enhance trust in e-learning and providing lifelong equal access to e-learning and leading sustainable innovation in e-learning in order to achieve trust and basically trust in online learning for all kind of institutions and for all type of courses as well. National e-learning center do have some vision, mission, and values, and what kind of goals they're going to achieve and what kind of goals they do have set to enhance trust in online learning, facilitating equitable access to relevant lifelong online learning, and leading sustainable innovation in education through online learning. What objectives they do have set, they try to ensure recognition of all forms of online learning inside Saudi Arabia, and they are trying to ensure quality of online learning and equitable access to online learning. They're trying to focus to improve the different efficiency in the online learning courses, and they're providing adaptive online learning opportunities that are increasingly relevant to individual learning needs. They are trying to lead digital transformation in education because, as everyone understands, that there is a vision 2030, and till 2030, there are many transformations being happening inside Saudi Arabia, and National e-learning center is focusing on all these transformations. They are trying to invest in the new technologies, the different type of AI, data analytics, blockchains to meet changing needs and solve complex educational problems through online learning. They're trying to facilitate co-creation of value in education through innovation-driven online learning. So that's all kind of objectives being done from the e-learning centers. They do have board of directors, And these board of directors been chosen from all over the kingdom, from different universities. And luckily, we do have one person, a very nice guy, that is Dr. Khalid Hussain Mukli. And he is a e-learning specialist. You can see his picture and name on this area on the bottom right side. He was the Dean of e-learning, Deanship of e-learning and distance learning in Jazan University. And he stayed over here for 4 years as a Dean for the Deanship of e-learning. I worked with him, very nice, very talented and very innovative guy. Now he's the part of the directors for National e-learning center. So I believe they are doing a lot of things for the transformation. Not only from the Saudi Arabia, they do have the board of e-learning international advisory from international universities as well. They do have a big team over there with their working apart, and they're trying to facilitate the Saudi Arabia with the international standards. National e-learning center do have a success partners, a like long list of success partners, OLC, QM, STC, one of them, and QM is one of the international standards for the e-learning, and many other like success partners you can see in the list. What kind of services National e-Center is offering? Number one is licensing. NELC mean like they are basically offering institutions and programs and licenses for institutions that provide e-learning and training programs based on approved licensing regulations. The aim is to govern e-learning and training practices in accordance with the international best practices with high efficiency and effectiveness. And they are also doing research and consultations. R&C department aims to conduct assessment and development studies. In addition, it offers consultations in the field of e-learning to enhance trust, quality, and effectiveness in all private and government institutions that offers e-learning. And most of the institutions inside Saudi Arabia, including higher education, is offering e-learning because after pandemic, this is part of, like the core part of the studies. So everyone is offering the e-learning courses. Moreover, it provides a database for e-learning resources and measuring beneficiaries' satisfactions and assessment of all the presented studies and research in accordance with the highest standards. In the end, they are trying to offer different kind of trainings and qualification. We're going to discuss what kind of trainings they are offering in the next slide. They're offering 3 types of trainings for the individuals and institutional base. Number one, that is ELQA. This is a like professional certificate in e-learning quality control, and who is the beneficiary for this course, who can attempt or who can go to take this kind of courses, that is e-learning quality control specialist and evaluator of e-learning programs, and in the end, educational supervisors and school principals can take this type of course. The second type is ELXD, professional certificate in designing e-learning experiences. And who is the beneficiary? Instructional designer, education technology expert, teachers and faculty members. And the last one is professional certificate in the provision of e-learning and trainings, and teacher in general education can take the benefit with this one. Faculty members in universities, the trainer in the training agencies. All these courses are available with NELC, but all these courses are paid courses. And if you want to take these courses, you can go ahead, but paid courses. Now, the most important part of the this training session going to be start over here. That is e-learning content design and development standard partner. There are 2 major partners for the NELC. That one is QM, that is Quality Matters, and the second one is OLC, Online Learning Consortium. And Online Learning Consortium is the leading professional organization devoted to advancing quality. What kind of quality? Online learning by providing professional development. OLC is collaborative community of higher education leaders and innovators, and they are dedicated to advancing quality digital teaching and learning experiences designed to reach and engage the modern learner, anyone, anywhere, anytime. But what we have chosen, we are going to discuss more in detail the QM, because they are following two standards, but quality matter is one of the best standard offering QM in the world, and many of the universities following this to create the design different type of courses. What is actually QM? QM is a nationally recognized faculty driven peer review process, and it is used to ensure the quality of online and blended courses design. QM standards were developed and revised based on research and established standards in the fields of instructional design and online learning. So all these things, this is basically a body, who is offering the different type of standards and asking the students to follow, the institutions to follow these standards to prepare a very innovative and instructional type of designs. But what type of design rubric standards they follow? I have a question over here. One question to the participants. Be ready, and if you have any idea about this one, please do answer. This will give me an idea that you are you already implemented. Do you have any knowledge about this or not? The question is, what is rubric? Anyone do have an idea? If you have an idea about what is rubric, please answer me. We do have 30 seconds to discuss about this question. I've just seen your message. Would you please raise your voice a little bit? Can you hear me clearly now? Everyone can have the clear voice quality from my side. I have a question. What is rubric? Can anyone answer, please? Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Sarah, standard way to evaluate some students' work. Okay. It is criteria for assessment, a type of scoring guide. Very nice. Anyone else? We still have 15 minutes left. Evaluation by number. Okay, set instructions, Dr. Hera. Set of instructions, very close answer. Dr. Shalabazi, a criteria to evaluate. But what to evaluate? A criteria to evaluate, but what kind of evaluation? A scoring guide. What kind of scoring guide? Dr. Hera. It means you already have some idea about rubrics, because in end of the session, I do have a set of instructions about how to create a rubric in Blackboard, because Blackboard is offering the rubric for the students as well. To evaluate the quality, what kind of scoring, Dr. Shala? Okay, measurable methods, a criteria to evaluate students' written work. Very nice. Dr. Maharnisa, you're very close, but what kind of criteria? Who is going to create this criteria? Not by numbers, it's given by qualitative words, right? Glad to see that everyone is participating over here and everyone do have an idea about the rubric. So this session gonna be more productive because we are going to discuss more in detail about the rubrics, course design rubrics. So what is rubric? A rubric is a scoring guide used to evaluate performance, a product, a project, and it has three parts. One, performance criteria. Number two, rating scale. Number three, indicators. For you and your students, the rubric defines what is expected and what will be assessed. The most important part, please focus on this one. What is expected and what will be assessed. And whether for online or face-to-face courses, it indicates that you will evaluate according to specified criteria. This is the exact answer. What is rubric? That you will evaluate according to the specific criteria. You're going to inform the students that this is the rubric. And for example, you have a one letter in assignments, and letter have three parts: top and inner side of the body and the bottom side. For example, you have 5 marks for this letter. 1 mark is on the top. If someone here has written and apply all the informations correctly, you're going to have it, okay, 1 mark. In the bottom, 1 mark in the body. If you written something exactly, that is 3 marks. Otherwise 2 or 1 marks, you can decide it over there. So this is like written rubrics for and to evaluate the students for a specific criteria, making grading and ranking simpler, more transparent, and fairer. So here, course design rubric standards using by QM, a set of 8 general standards and 42 specific review standards used to evaluate the design of online and blended courses, especially for QM. The rubric has a scoring system used by the review team to determine whether a course meets standards or not. As I just discussed, that there are 3 points agenda and there are 3 points specific review standards. And out of these standards, like 85% of the points possible are required for a course to attain QM certifications. Out of these 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and either from the one side, 1 is acceptable and 3 is excellent. If you follow all these instructions in designing of the course, and a minimum 85% of the standards meet with the QM, then they can give you a QM certification. And by getting the QM certification means it is recognized. Your course going to be recognizable internationally in all type of institutions. What QM members using this rubrics, they're including individual faculty and instructional designers. Individuals can use it. 4-year accredited college and universities can use it. Any institutions who is offering 4 years degree, they can use the QM rubrics, and the community colleges can go have. I mean, like they can have the opportunity to use it, the QM standards. QM to have 8 general standards of these rubrics, and all these 8 standards we are going to discuss in detail in coming slides one by one. What do we have in 8 standards? Number 1, that is course overview and introduction. The second one is learning objectives, and third one, assessments and measurements. Instructional materials, learning activities, course technology, learner support, and accessibility and usability. All these 8 general standards do QM have it. I mean, like at the time of designing any of the course, you need to follow all this list from 1 to 8. And all these are important. Some do have the priority of 3, and some do have 2, and some do have 1. You can have more expectations, but you are not going to follow as exactly with the excellent form. So let's have a look that one by one. Number 1 is course overview and introduction. You can see, you can have one list in front of you. On left side, you can see course overview and introduction. And there are 9 points for this course overview and introduction. And in every point on right side, you can find out the priority. As I told you, 1 is acceptable, 2 is average, and the 3 is excellent. Excellent mean exemplary. You have created a very good design for the for any of the course. So let's have a look about 1.1. Instructions make clear how to get started, where to find various course components. This is the start of the course designing, that you do have a clear instructions, a student or any of the teacher institutions where they're going to be take start and where they can find various course components, what kind of components you're going to use it and where they can find it. And this do have the priority of 3, mean like you need to be careful while designing the course at this point. Number 2, learners are introduced to the purpose and structure of the course. Learners do need to take the introduction of the course in start and all the structure of the course, what they do have in this course and where they're going to be learn during the, and what kind of activities going to be involved, and by the end, what kind of results they're going to be having. Number 3, a little less priority, that is 2, that is communication expectations for online discussions, email and other forms of interactions are clearly stated. You can have communication expectations for online discussions, especially once the student is sending the email, the forms, interactions, and all these instructions being clearly mentioned over there, but the priority is little less and it's 2. The 4th one is course and institutional policies with which the learner is expected to comply are clearly stated within the course, or a link to current policies is provided. What is the course institutional policies? You need to mention it clearly. Minimum technology requirement, you need to mention the minimum technology requirement for the course are clearly stated, because once you have designed for the e-learning courses, especially at that time, you need to keep in your mind that what kind of hardware is required for this course to attend for the, especially for the students. For example, someone is living in remote area, what minimum requirements they do have it, they do need to go with a laptop or desktop or mobile, and the network connectivity that is mandatory for them to attend this course. Computer skills and digital informative literacy skills, you can expect that students sitting in front of you, they are highly skilled for the computer, and they do have the information for the digital information, and they are literacy skills that are expected for learners. But it doesn't mean that they are experts. It might possible they are not expert, but they're using over there. This is your expectation. So the margin level is 1, acceptable. For example, you expected he is expert or she is expert, but they are average, but it means it's acceptable, it's fine. Expectations for the prerequisite knowledge about the discipline, whatever the course they're going to be attend, they do have the prerequisite knowledge. This is again the expectations, and lower average for the standard, this is only 1. You can expect they do have the prerequisite knowledge, but it doesn't mean like they do have it. The self-introduction by the instructor is professional, mean like sometimes the self-introduction of the teacher already written or available online, that is low priority as well. And in the end, learners are asked to introduce themselves to the class. So this is again the expectations you are going to ask them. Might possible one is very sharp and responded very well quickly, but might possible one is a shy guy and he or she is not able to introduce herself or himself exactly what the way you are wanted. So the priority is 1, acceptable. If they can introduce well, it's fine. If they cannot introduce, doesn't matter. The second one is learning objectives. I believe in creation of the course, especially in the e-learning design, or you're designing any course for the face-to-face learning, the most important part of the course designing is learning objective. And you can find there are 5 points, and all do have a 3 priority. It means they're really important, and you need to focus like sharply on all these points. None of the points is gonna be down 2 or 1 or acceptable. You need to make it excellent or exemplary. What is that? Number one, the course learning objectives or course prime competencies describe outcomes that are measurable. Any kind of course learning objectives you are going to be set for your course need to describe outcomes that are measurable. Any kind of outcomes you have set over there, all these are measurables, and what students are going to get the results after this course. The module unit level learning objectives or competencies describes outcomes that are measurable and consistent with the course level objectives or competencies. Next one is learning objectives. Should be stated clearly, are written from the learner's perspective, and are prominently located in the course. You need to decide then, like, a learning objective must be in the at the time of written, you need to keep in your mind the learner perspective. It means, like, if, for example, you do have 30 class members, not all the students do have the equal level. So you need to keep in your mind that, for example, some of them are average, some of them are excellent, some of them are below standard. So you need to decide and written objectives clearly and prominently located in the course, so everyone can have a look on that one. The relationship between learning objectives and learning activities is clearly stated. Relationship and learning objectives between learning objectives and competencies and learning activities is clearly mentioning, like, there should be a relationship between the objectives and learning activities. The learning objectives or competencies are suited to the level of the course. This one is also important. So there is a long list. Like, this is the 5 points are really, really important about the learning objectives. So anyone who is designing the course, keep in mind all these objectives. Assessment and measurement. Again, assessment and measurement do have the 5 points. Assessment measures the achievement of the stated learning objective to have the higher priority of 3. And the second one, first 3 do have the, first 3 points to have the higher priority, and the last 2 points do have the little average priority, that is 2. The course grading policy is stated clearly what kind of courses, how to grade your course, and specific and descriptive criteria are provided for the evaluation of learner. So it means the grading policy and criteria should be provided over there, how to evaluate the learners. But the next 2 points are, the middle of the way. The assessment used are sequenced, varied, and situated the level of the course. And the course provides learners with multiple opportunities to track their learning progress with timely feedback. So what you're going to do, have it like you have to follow assessment and measurement criteria by following these 5 points, and keep in your mind that some of these points, first 3 points, to have the higher priority. So you need to be more focused, more clear, and more accurate with these type of guidance. And the next one, assessment and course provide learners with the multiple opportunities, then how they can track their learning progress. You need to keep in your mind that how they can track it and what kind of options being given to the students. Instructional material. Instructional, what kind of extra instructional material you're going to contribute to the achievement of the stated learning objectives. So instructional materials can be different types, like it can be recorded videos, it can be instrumental based, for example, library, or the laboratory is involved over there. So you need to decide what kind of instructional material you're going to distribute and contribute to achieve the stated learning. The relationship between the use of instructional materials in the course and completing learning activities is clearly explained. And first 2 points, again, to have a higher priority, and the next 3 points to have a little less priority, or you can say the number 2, but they are also important. The course models the academic integrity expected of learners, and instructional material represents up to date. They should be up to date. Theory or practice, whatever the discipline you are following, all instruction materials should be updated, not the using like the old one, or I mean, couple of years ago you have designed over there and you are continuing, because in this digital era everything need to be updated on the continuous basis. Even sometimes I feel, even lecture to lecture there is a transformation might possible. In the last semester you are teaching something about the technology, in the next section you do have the new technology updates over there, so you need to update your courses every semester. Every semester you have to look into it, and what kind of like expectancies to you can do it over there, experience sharing over there, the technology, the software, the hardware, everything is changing on daily basis. Learning activities and lecture interaction, interaction, sorry. So again, there are 4 points. Three do have the higher priority, and the one do have the average one. The learner activities promote the achievement of the stated learning objectives or competencies. I mean, like, I'm not going to discuss everything in detail because it's self-explanatory. So I believe you can understanding everything, all these points clearly. Learning activities provide opportunities for interaction that support active learning. So any kind of learning activities, it can have the opportunity for interaction that support active learning. So you can bring some kind of activities, some kind of quizzes, assignments at the time of a delivery of the, I mean, like you can interact your and engage your students with different type of activities. And in some of my sessions, I already discussed there are some softwares that are available for the blended learning and online learning, which can give you an idea that how you can engage. And Mentimeter is one of them, one of the best online like software available, which can engage the students more productive with more productivity. The last one is like the requirement for learner interactions are clearly stated. What kind of requirements for the learner interactions are necessary, and instructions plan for integrating with learners during the course should be clearly stated. So all these standards mean specific review standards from the QM higher education rubrics, and this is the 6th edition, and they review after doing research and planning, and I mean, they are updating after some time. Course technology. What kind of technology you can use it, what kind of tools used in the course for the learning objectives or competencies, and course tools promote learners engagement and active learning. A variety of technology is used in the course. What I just discussed about this, what kind of technology you're going to be used for the online learning, especially e-learning courses or blended learning courses. I just gave you example that different type of online softwares being available over there, which can be include WooClap, Mentimeter, this type of like representative or responded type of softwares which can engage the students quickly. How Mentimeter work? I mean, I can give you one example over here for the technology involvement, what kind of tools you can use it to engage the students. Mentimeter is a free web-based software. You can log in over there, you can create some kind of questions, and you can instruct the student to install the Mentimeter on their smart devices. You can have one code in the instructor side. Once you log in and create, sign up with this like Mentimeter website, it's free of cost. And there is one code, you can share that code with the students. Everyone do have the same code. Once they enter that code in their application, they do have the similar interface like the instructor do have it. And you can see the question raised by the instructor. They can attempt that question and they can see the results on the screen at the same time. So this kind of interaction between students and teacher can have more engaging activities. I believe you can like apply this type of software inside Blender, like face-to-face learning can have this interaction again, and students, instead of diverting themselves towards the social media use or some kind of negative activities, you can engage them with their devices so they can have learning activities over there. Learner sports, what kind of sport you can have it, like there are 4 points again, and the first 3 points are really important. Course instructions articulate or link to a clear description of the technical sport offered and how to obtain it. What kind of sport you're going to offer a technical sport to the students and how they can obtain it. It should be mentioned in the course clearly. Again, the institutional accessibility policy and services should be mentioned clearly, and academic support services and resources that can help learners to succeed in the course. And in the end, what kind of student services and resources that can help learners succeed. So all these services need to mention in the course clearly. So this is the learner sport, that how the learner can take the sport from the management in the form of technical sport or any other policies or services we've been offering from the institutions. Accessibility and usability, and this is also a really important, that how you can how your course navigation facilitate ease of use. You need to keep in your mind when once you are online learning, at that time you don't know that the person sitting in, like online, they do have like computer skills or no. So you while the creating or designing of the course, navigation facilitate should be ease of use. That their interface should be ease of use, the instruction mentioned clearly, so they can move and navigate easily between the course. Course design facilitates readability. It should be clearly readable and easy to understand the language. Do not use a very tough and difficult language which is not understandable for most of the students. The course provides accessible text and images in files, documents, LMS pages, web pages to meet the needs of diverse learner. So you can go ahead with the different type of images, LMS pages and web pages you can mention in your course so they can interact easily. So in the fourth point, course provide alternative means of access to multimedia content in formats that meets the needs of diverse learners, and course multimedia facilitate ease of use. Again, this ease of use is again telling you the reason. Ease of use is most important part of online learning. If it's not easy to use, students can skip. They can skip the lectures, they can skip the learning as well. Vendor accessibility statements are provided for all technologies required in the course. So vendor accessibility statements. So all these statements been mentioned inside what kind of technology required in the course. So that's all from accessibility and usability. Now I do have a very short clip for you to understand all these standards again in the form of video. What I just speak in front of you and discuss and explain in front of you might possible you do have an idea about this one, but after watching this clip, you can have clear idea. So have a look.
Quality Matters, QM, is a quality assurance leader in online education. Its impact and influence is seen broadly across the U.S. and is expanding internationally. QM is a nonprofit organization with a peer-based approach to serving the education community. From K-12 to higher education and continuing and professional education, our underlying principle is continuous improvement in all aspects of the education process to improve student learning outcomes. QM enables and facilitates the quality assurance process through its rubric standards. The three primary components in QM are research-supported rubrics, professional development for faculty and staff, and peer reviews of courses and programs.
So you can see over here, like it can enable quality assurance process, rubric standards, and professional development, course and program reviews. All these three steps follow for any kind of course review.
And programs. The 5 QM rubrics are 1. Higher Education Rubric, 2. Higher Education Publisher Rubric, 3. K-12 Secondary Rubric, 4. K-12 Publisher Rubric, 5. Continuing and Professional Education Rubric.
So you can see like they have designed five types of rubrics for different type of learning activities can be designed for different institutions. They do have the rubric for higher education and as well as K-12 secondary and publisher rubrics and continuing and professional education rubrics.
Each of the 5 rubrics are research supported and reflect best practices in the particular field. All 5 rubrics have the same 8 general standards as the higher education rubric shown here. 1. Course overview and introduction. 2. Learning objectives, competencies. 3. Assessment and measurement. 4. Instructional materials. 5. Learning activities and learner interaction. 6. Course technology. 7. Learner support. 8. Accessibility and usability.
So,
Quality matters.
sorry.
Accessibility.
So you can see that higher education rubric do have 8 general standards, but we already discussed about this one, that course overview and introduction is really important. Learning objectives, you need to set the learning objectives. Assessment and measurement is also important. I mean, like instructional materials, top of the line, some do have more, you can say the priority, some do have the less priority, but everyone is important. As I told you that QM minimum 85% of their general standards, after meeting that 85% of the general standards, they can assign you the QM certifications. And once you follow all these steps, all 8 general standards, you can get the QM standard certification for your course. And once you've done it, once you get it, that course, it means after that your course would be recognized all over the world. All the institution can take that course and study their students.
And usability.
So that was I mean, like a short video that can help you to understand about the like 8 general standards of the QM. Now we are approaching by end of the presentation, and this part is really important. So be focused with me that you can create these rubrics in Blackboard Learn as well for assignments, test and exam. Do anyone try these rubrics in Blackboard? Till now, anyone created and implemented for the students or not yet? Can anyone have it? Like, okay. No. Anyone else? In the Blackboard, anyone created? No. Anyone else? Okay, if you didn't try earlier, now you have to take a look at how you can create the rubric in Blackboard, and then you can try and implement for your students for the assignment and quizzes. Let's have a look.
To create a rubric, you have the option of creating it when you actually go to build your assessments and assignment.
First, where you can build it, number one, you can go in assessments, in assignments, you can go ahead. I mean, like this is the first part, but there are multiple options where you can create it. Just have a look.
For your particular project. You can also create and access all of your rubrics by going to your course control panel over here on the left, bottom half, and then course tools. And under the course tools tab,
on the left hand in the course tools,
to create a rubric, you have the option course control panel over here on the left, bottom half, and then course tools. And under the course tools tab, we have our rubrics link. And you can see that I've already created two rubrics, one for PowerPoint presentations and one for short essays. And to create one, you just go over here to this Create Rubric button, and then you click on it. And when you do click on it, if I go over to one that's already made, I'm going to go ahead and edit this by going to this little circle and then clicking on the Edit button. So when you create a rubric, you have the name. So what kind of rubric is this going to be for? Is it going to be for essays, short answer, PowerPoints, videos, whatever? And this is where you describe your rubric. And then under the rubric detail, you can really customize this however you want. You have the ability to add rows and add columns, and you can rename any row and any column to be whatever you want. Now for this PowerPoint example, I've got 3 levels. I've got novice, competent, and proficient. And I want people to be proficient, so I have these percent values much higher than any section. And with the row percentages, I have it so that you cannot really score a novice in any one area of critique without impacting your grade. So if you want to get an A, you do have to be proficient in, at least competent or proficient in all of these rows. And I have my rows for things like color design, grammar, use of images to support content, the organization of your PowerPoint overall, and your text design. And again, you can click on any of these labels to edit them, the name, and you can choose to either do a percent value, you can do a point or a point range and a percent range. So it's pretty easy, very customizable, and pretty awesome. And then once you're done and this is all saved by hitting submit, we can then go to our content area or our assignment. So assignments, go to our PowerPoint. I'm going to go ahead and edit the assignment. And you're going to see that in the assignment we have under files where we can upload things, we have a section 3 for grading for all possible points, and we have this add rubric area. So I've added the rubric and I've attached my PowerPoint rubric, and you have to make sure that once your rubric is attached, you want to make sure that show rubric to students is set to yes. And I like to do it with rubric scores, so it keeps the whole rubric viewable to them. This is actually set to no by default. I'm not sure why, but just be aware of that. So you do have to actually come over here and click on yes to make the rubric available to your course. And then once they do that, they have the assignment on the student side. They see the point possible. And then there's a button here that says View Rubric. So your students can click on this to view their rubric for the assignment.
So that's all that how you can create the rubric in Blackboard. It's quite simple. I would recommend everyone to try at least for their assignment and quizzes. So this will give an idea about your assignment, that how it's going to be evaluated, and any of the student can see and easily can follow all these steps to get the more grading and more clear and easily submission over there. So that's all from today's session. If you have any question, I'm gonna give you access over here with the mic and you can ask the question, please. Now you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question, or you can send me the question here in the chat box.